Living in a city like LA, do you ever have doubts? Like when you're writing lyrics or you're trying to come up with a song, do you ever have doubts about yourself or about what you're writing at that time?
Oh, all the time. I think like if you ask any artist and they say no, they're a liar. Because I feel like every artist goes through like at least at some point, like I'm not good enough or I don't sound like this, so it's not as good as this person. Or like I think it's just important to remember like that you're different than everyone else and you have something else that, like somebody may not have. So maybe like I don't sing like Mariah Carey, but like I can produce and, maybe Mariah has never produced in her life. There's definitely like different skills that people have and, different flaws and stuff. But I think it's just remembering that your individuality and just being confident in what you bring to the table.
So tell me about this decision that you made to move from Chicago to Los Angeles. Probably the most the most competition that you could find in the world with music.
It's a big
city in Los Angeles. What makes you or how am I supposed to ask this?
What gives you the drive to want to move out there and throw yourself in the deep end?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like an overnight decision by any means. Like this is years in the making. I grew up in Chicago. And then after, graduating high school, I decided to move to Boston to study at Berklee College of Music. So I studied there for 3.5 years, graduated early and was like, if I'm going to do this, like now is the time to do it. I'm young, like, and I have the drive and like, I believe in myself. So like, if I'm going to do it, it should be now. So I just got my shit together and like moved to LA, and I struggled for a bit with like finding a job and like, getting by. And I guess just finding my path in terms of like where I wanted my music to go. I've experimented with like a lot of different styles and I definitely found my sound here, and I'm just continuing to go with my gut. Despite the competition, there was tons of competition in college, there's tons of competition everywhere. So I just try to like focus on myself and like not what everyone else is doing and just have fun with it.
When you're writing lyrics and, when they're coming into your mind and everything, are you hearing a song before you get the lyrics down? I mean, do you kind of have a general idea of what you want it to sound like?
Yeah. So like a lot of the time, like I'll just start a memo on my phone. And then when I have the instrumental done, I'll just kind of hum like a general melody. Sometimes weird lyrics will come out. It will just kind of make no sense. And then I'll place words to like the melody that I had in mind. And then other times, like other songs are completely different. Like they start as like a poem, or like maybe I have all the lyrics written on my phone and then I kind of set the melody after the fact. So it just depends on the song. For this song, I did like the memo thing with like, I knew kind of the melody that I wanted to write to, but I didn't have the lyrics yet. And I kind of set them to what I had.
How did you go about building the chorus of the song, getting into the body of the song?
Well, I knew that I know that the verses are really open, and I knew that I wanted the chorus to be a little bit more percussive and busy. Not too busy, but just more going on. When I wrote the chorus, I had that first line, like, got me walking on eggshells. Is this going to end well? That was another note in my phone that I had written, I think like months prior. And I was like, I'm going to use this for a song, but I'm not sure which one. And so once I had that, I set it to the song and expanded on the rhyme scheme. So like, I'm very into like writing songs that rhyme and like flow well. Maybe not an exact rhyme, like the first line, walking on eggshells, end well. Like that's not really a rhyme, but it just sounds, I don't know, it sounds appealing to the ear.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I do a lot of
Definitely does.
those, like, I guess, half rhymes.
I mean, is there a time of day where you feel more creative in your lyrics, or is this something you do in the car, maybe on the bus, or just however? How do you go about doing that?
Usually I'm a night owl. Like I stay up pretty late. I feel like most musicians are that way. Like I'll be up at like 2 a.m. writing lyrics, or like I'll be half asleep in my bed and I'll just like be almost dreaming and be like, oh, that's a line. Like I'm gonna write it down in my notepad right now, so I don't forget it in the morning. But for production, I feel like sometimes I like to wake up early and do it, just because I have more energy and just like drink a lot of coffee and like get the day going, making a beat. And then I feel like the more creative stuff is like at night, like in my feels, writing things down and just getting in the vibe.
You definitely have the voice to where, like when Tracy first told me, oh, we're going to interview Sloane Skylar. And I'm like, oh, okay, what kind of music does she have? And he was kind of explaining it. And I'm like, so it kind of sounds like she has the voice to kind of cover everything. And I was like, And then I listened to the first song that you sent us. And I was like, she could actually sing kind of everything. What made you actually kind of go with that kind of new age pop? Yeah,
I think it's really influenced by, I guess, a lot of contemporary R&B that's been, popping now. Like one of my main inspirations is Kehlani. And I think what's really cool about her is she's in the pop world, but she's also got like R&B and soul in her music as well, and like all different types of elements. And so like basically what I'm trying to do is like incorporate those elements into modern pop music, and also incorporate, things that I studied, like jazz and a bunch of different genres, and kind of like mesh them all together to create that new age pop. I have like, I think 10 songs that I'm working on right now, and only 5 of them are going to make it on the EP. And then I feel like I'll just like trickle out the other ones. We'll see what happens, but I'm in a good place with like a lot of ideas, and I'm just determining, which ones are going to fit well on the EP. Like I said, I'm working on it with Michael, and then also our friend Tom, who plays drums, and he'll often like double the drums that I like, the fake drums that I'll produce with like the samples and stuff, and he'll add some real drums to kind of give it more depth. So we're all 3 working on an EP. Basically, the vibe of the EP is self-love, being by yourself, but also being content with that. And also just, I think, a coming of age. I'm not in college anymore. I'm living in the real world. I'm out in LA. I live by myself, and just kind of adulting, and moving into that world.